All right. If you don't mind, I'm gonna do my makeup while I film this. This is not a makeup channel. I just want to make that very clear, but I kind of want something to do while I chat with you guys about my experiences seeing Rina Sawayama and Lana Del Rey live, each for the first time at a music festival. So, I went to a music festival called Lollapalooza. Okay, it's in Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. It's a 4-day music festival. They basically have every kind of genre under the sun. Pop, electronic, rap. And I have been wanting to go to this festival for years, but I just never had the opportunity. It's very expensive. The lineups are usually really bad, to be honest with you. But this year, Lana Del Rey was going to be performing. And for that reason, I was like, I need to get my booty there. Because as far as I understand, Lana just does not really tour like on her own tour that often. And so I felt like this was really a good opportunity to see her. I don't know if she's gonna tour for the recent album. Like, I honestly don't know what's going on with her. She's not that active, and then randomly she'll be active. Like, she's active now, but like there are times when I just have no idea what she's up to. I've been a fan of Lana on and off for like 10 years. So in high school, I was obsessed with Born to Die. Actually in college, I think it was. I had a Lana Del Rey poster in my dorm. Like, I was obsessed with her. Then I fell off a little bit when she released like Ultraviolence, because I was like, I just didn't like that album at the time, and I was like, you know, I don't know that her music is for me anymore. And then actually in 2021, I don't know what compelled me, but I went back and listened to all her albums that I had like missed while I was not following her, and I fell back in love with her. And since then, she has become one of my favorite artists of all time. Every time I listen to her discography, I like it more. She's a timeless artist while also feeling like she's been around forever, and she's like this classic art. I don't know how to describe it, but she is such a class act. So I was literally just about to go to this music festival for Lana Del Rey. There were other artists that I would have loved to see on the other days of the festival, but considering how expensive it is, how exhausting it is, and all of those things, I knew it was realistic to just go for a day. I don't live in Chicago or anything, so I had to travel quite a few hours to get there, and I really only went because my mom got me tickets. She gave me tickets for my birthday, so thank you so much, mother. So I went to the last day of this festival. That's when Lana was performing, and Rina just so happened to be on the exact same stage as Lana right before Lana came out. So I was like, this is perfect because I can see both of them. I wasn't going for Rina, but like once I heard she was gonna be there too, I was like, even more reason to go. I was hoping to see Maisie Peters. That was the only other artist that day that I knew and I liked and I wanted to see, but I didn't get around to seeing her. So I went with my cousin. It was really chill during the day, honestly. Like, there was not a ton of crowds. It was just kind of a vibe. We just meandered around. We got food. We looked at the merch. It was trash. I kind of regret not getting a Lana Del Rey shirt though, because after that experience, I feel like I need something to commemorate it. Probably better for my bank account because that festival was insane. I bought a crepe with Nutella and strawberries and it was $27. We didn't have anyone that we were super keen on seeing. My cousin wanted to see Upsal, which is like, I don't know how to describe her music. She's really talented. She has an incredible, incredible voice, and it was a really good set.
If you don't pass the vibe check, sorry, but you don't get the sushi. Don't take it personally.
We went and saw this guy named Neil Francis, and he was very like chill and kind of funky production. It was a good opportunity to kind of just sit back, relax. We saw a couple Holly Humberstone songs, but like I didn't know what she was singing. And then we knew we wanted to get to the stage an hour before Rina performed so that we would be able to get a semi-good spot. I specifically really wanted to be able to see her at least a little bit because like I just hate only being able to look at the screens. So we went over and we watched Lil Yachty's set. When I say that Lil Yachty is like the farthest thing from my music taste that you could get, I'm sure that doesn't surprise anyone, but yeah, I am not a Lil Yachty fan. An hour of my life that I'll never get back. He did I Spy, which I didn't realize he sang that song. I kind of was reliving like my high school days. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of fun. And we had a pretty good spot comparatively, like compared to the amount and the size of the crowd, we had a pretty good spot. However, what I learned is even if you're pretty close up, you still can't necessarily see the performer very well because it's not stadium seating, it's not different levels. So if there's a tall person in front of you, like you can't see over them. And I'm actually tall, so I always feel guilty, but like I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. But anyway, we just kind of stood around for the next hour because there was an hour before Rina Sawayama came out after Lil Yachty performed. We were not able to leave our spot unless we wanted to lose our spot. And it was raining on and off throughout the day. By this point, it was kind of not raining anymore. Luckily, because the rain made giant mud pits. There were pockets of no one standing because of the mud pits, but then that made everything more congested. And then Rina Sawayama came out. So if you don't know, I only discovered Rina's music like a year or two ago, but she is insanely talented. I re-listened to her entire discography the other night. I have reactions up of all her music. She is so good. And I really was like reminded of how much I love her music because it can be an acquired taste. Sawayama is such a wild ride of an album, and like it can definitely be an acquired taste. And then I think Hold the Girl, people had really mixed reviews about that. That's actually my favorite album from her, but I get it. I mean, nothing's for everyone. And then she has her little EP, which is really good as well. Like all her music is good. There's only a couple songs I don't really love. I was really excited to see her live. I had seen a couple of her live performances online. I think I reacted to one actually. And so I had a good feeling that she was going to be really talented. And she was. The production value behind her performance was incredible. She started with Hold the Girl and she had her two dancers and they were doing a full-on dance routine while she performed. It was really beautiful. I will insert clips as I go through. Immediately I knew that she was like one of those performers that story tells instead of just like singing. She was such a theatrical, dramatic performer, and I really love that type of performing. It really reminds me of like Taylor Swift and other artists like that who just have this very theatrical, dramatic presence. Honestly, Rina just put it all on that stage. There was so much passion and so much energy that she put into her performance. No complaints, really. Well, I do have one thing that I really was disappointed by. So I know a lot of artists sing to track. They sing with the track behind them so that if they stop singing for a second, you can still hear something. It's mostly used when the performer's like dancing around and doing a bunch of crazy stuff, which Rina was, and I don't want to take away from that, but I will just say that the track behind her voice was so loud that I often couldn't actually hear her real voice. And when she stopped singing, it was the same volume as when she was singing. So while I don't think she was lip syncing, I do just wish that the track behind her had been a little bit quieter. I'm not saying that's her fault or anyone's fault. I don't know like who's in charge of that. But as far as the rest of the track list for Rina, she did Hurricanes. Okay, that was really fun because I love that song, but I wouldn't have necessarily known she was going to perform it. Honestly, I had no expectations for her set list. She did Dynasty, which went really hard. Akasaka Sad was one of my favorites because that song just has such a cool sentence in it. If you know, you know, but like Akasaka Sawayama is one of the coolest sound bites I've ever heard in any song, and hearing that live and getting to sing it back to her live was just everything. She did a Limp Bizkit cover. Okay, that's news to me. I knew that she did a cover, I just had no idea what the song was apparently. She did Frankenstein. Make it stop. All I want is to feel beautiful, sayonara. Beg For You. So Beg For You is the first song I ever heard by her because that's a Charlie XCX song that she was featured on. hearing that live was really special because I was like, this was like the song that introduced me to her. And so she had like 4 outfit changes in the span of an hour set. When I say that Rina Sawayama was acting as though she was a headliner, even though she was not a headliner, she was. She was putting everything onto that stage. And I can respect her so much for that. Like, she was going so hard and I don't know what for. She did Comme des Garçons. She came out in a suit with like the rest of her dancers. Her dancers were incredible. I don't know their names, but they were incredible. And she had a newspaper that said, Rina Sawayama, does she even know judo? If you know from the song, there's a line about like judo. It was basically a headline like questioning if she really had the qualifications, going back to sexism. The song is all about sexism. It's kind of like The Man by Taylor Swift, that whole vibe. If you don't know, she just like constantly was changing outfits to like match the vibe, and I can really get down with that. I literally think she changed outfits. She had a different outfit for Beg For You, then she did Comme des Garçons, then she did Excess. This girl was doing so much and I don't know why, but like honestly, bless her heart. Then she did Excess.
Crazy, call me selfish, I'm the best, and all of the things love it, oh me, oh my, I only want, oh me, oh my, give me some of it, oh me, oh my, give me just a little bit,
Then she sang Happy Birthday to her drummer, Simone. That was really cute too. She brought out a cake and then she ended her set with This Hell, which she had like a cowboy hat on. Again, like with the outfit changes and just like she put so much effort into every single performance. This is like her country moment of a song. I didn't realize how country this song was until I heard it live. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is literally a country song. And I think that's one of the reasons like I don't really like that song all that much. I can appreciate it for certain aspects and all that. Like screaming, fuck what they did to Britney live was an absolute mood. So yeah, that was such a good set from Rina. Would see her live again. I'm gonna say that I was kind of ready for her set to be over just because it was such a roller coaster of like outfit changes and every song giving such a different vibe and having to focus on so much. So it was kind of like a sensory overload, but it was great. She performed for an hour and then there was 45 minutes and then Lana Del Rey was going to come out. So obviously we had to stay in our seats, or not our seats, we had to stay standing or else we would lose our spots. So by this point, you know, my feet were killing me and I wanted more water, but we had run out and I hadn't eaten dinner and I also really had to go to the bathroom. But obviously for Lana Del Rey, this was all just minor things. Like I was about to stand there through rain, snow, sleet, or hail to see Lana Del Rey live. Like nothing was gonna stop me from seeing this woman live. I was so excited. My cousin actually recently got into Lana, so that was fun because she was kind of a baby Lana fan. So I don't know how to I genuinely don't know how to sum up the experience of seeing Lana live for the first time because it was just perfect from start to finish. I don't know how I'm gonna do it justice by talking about it, but I don't know why I'm putting on eyeshadow. It's literally like 6 p.m. Who's gonna see me? No one. I didn't know what she was gonna start with. I honestly had no expectations for this set list other than I knew she was gonna do Norman fucking Rockwell. I knew she was gonna do Video Games. Those were like the only songs that I knew of. I was down for whatever she was going to perform. So she did A&W first and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I will just say it was funny because she started and I'm pretty sure she started with the Jimmy Jimmy Cocoa Puff part. So it was just kind of funny that that was like the start to the entire concert. Mind you, you might think to yourself, oh, a Lana Del Rey concert, like no one's shoving, no one's pushing, no one's aggressive. That crowd was a little bit aggressive. It definitely could have been worse, but the girls around us were kind of catty. Like a lot of them were fighting and like cussing each other out over the fact that one of them had like walked up and just like stood at the front with us, which obviously like no one was happy about because they'd been standing there for hours waiting and this girl just like waltzed in. This group of girls beside us were like, we're pushing to the front as soon as she comes out. We're pushing to the front as far as we can go. Like I don't care who I have to like run over. I'm like, Y'all, like, maybe I'm too old for this, but like, I'm closer to 30 years old than I am 20 years old. I don't know if that's a factor or what, but I was like, it is not that deep. It's just really not that big of a deal. Like, you're so close compared to most of the crowd right now. Be grateful for what you have and just like, don't stampede other people. But I digress. She went into Young and Beautiful, which was such a throwback because that was like the first song I think I ever heard by her. And so I was like, wow, it was just like a moment of going from A&W, which is so new, to going back in time to Young and Beautiful. And then she did Bartender. I'm not gonna lie, that one kind of hit live. Her background singers were absolute angels from heaven above. She did Chemtrails Over the Country Club, and then she did the Grants. And when they sang the Grants, she gave me harmonies that I had been waiting for my entire life.
I'm gonna take mine of you and me. I'm gonna take mine of you and me. I'm gonna take mine of you and me, like Rocky Mountain High, the way John in the seas. So you say there's a chance for us. Should I do a dance for once? You're a family man, but
She and her background singers, I'm sorry, I don't know their names. They sounded so good together. It was so gospel church vibes, obviously, like the song, and it was so trippy to hear that song live because it sounded exactly like the recording. Chemtrails Over the Country Club, yes, that was such a vibe. She did Cherry. I love that song.
it's like smiling when the firing squad's against you, but you just stare and die.
I love that whole album. I think it's very, very underrated. Then she did Pretty When You Cry. It was kind of like, okay, we're just going all over the place right now. I have no complaints. Then she did Ride. Such a vibe. Like, the entire set list was perfect. She sounded so good. She sounded exactly like the recording, except for at the end of the lines, sometimes she would sing it slightly different. And I love when performers do that. That is my favorite thing to see in a live setting. I don't want to see them change the song too much. Like, this is my ideal performance, okay? They don't change the song entirely. They don't change the melodies. They don't start doing all these wacky things, but maybe they end the line in a different way or they sing something in a slightly different way. That is everything to me. And she did that so many times throughout the night. She was in a white dress. She was in this like white kind of doll-like dress. Her hair was all done up in a big way, and she had like butterflies in her hair. It was so pretty. It was so angelic. Like, she was literally an angel in the flesh. She sang Blue Jeans. Okay, this is where the night kind of started to take a turn. As I discussed, we had not eaten dinner. We had not had a ton of water. We had had some, but you know, I was kind of anxious because throughout the night, 5 people around us had fainted. I have anxiety, so as an anxious person, I was worried that I was also going to faint. That's just sort of a fear that kind of developed in my head without me wanting it to. We were at the front of the crowd in that, like, there were so many people behind us. And when that's the case, even if you're not a claustrophobic person, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel like there's no escape. I can't get out. I am just being enclosed right now and trapped. So I started to feel that, and I started to feel a little bit lightheaded. I honestly think it was just my anxiety. Regardless, I said to my cousin, you know, I'm feeling lightheaded, and she was like, okay, like, let's walk out. And obviously, easier said than done. When you're in a crowd that size, it's very very hard to get out. People were mad that we were walking past them. I was constantly apologizing and saying thank you to the people that were moving, but Lana was in the middle of performing Blue Jeans. Like, I don't even remember that song being on the set list because I was distracted trying to get out of the crowd. So that really sucks because that's my favorite song on Born to Die. Another fun moment during that was I stepped over to the side for a second because we found like this empty spot and we were like, okay, let's just stand here for a second and then continue snaking through the crowd. It was a very long 5 minutes of getting through that crowd. And this woman tells me that I'm standing in puke and that's why no one was standing there. So that was great. Really the icing on the cake, I already had mud on my shoes. Why not add some puke on there too? That was fun. Then we continued walking and we finally got out to like the side. So we weren't necessarily like suddenly in the back of the crowd, which was like way, this crowd was huge. I don't even know how to describe it. It was humongous. To go to the back of the crowd would have taken an hour. I don't know. But we were like on the side. It was kind of near the medic tent. So that's where everyone went when they fainted. And I started crying immediately because I was really disappointed that I had missed Blue Jeans. And then she was singing Norman fucking Rockwell, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. She was singing that while I was getting out of the crowd. So obviously I couldn't really fully register that song. I took a seat, I drank some water, and then we continued to watch. She did Ultraviolence. That's kind of where I registered back into what was happening. Love that song. Candy Necklace, Diet Mountain Dew. So we were just going all over the place, like, which I'm not surprised by, but I appreciated the range. Summertime Sadness, which was such a vibe because everyone singing it back so loud was such a magical experience. She did video games while swinging on this like ethereal swing and she looked like a literal angel. I was like, the gates of heaven have gotta look something like this. She ended her set. She had the absolute audacity to end her set with "Hope is a dangerous thing for a woman to have."
15-year dances, church basement romances, yeah, spilling my guts with these Bowery bumps is the only love I've had. Except for the stage, which I also call home when I'm not. Serving up a coffee for the coffee pot for the I've been tearing around in my fucking white gown like a goddamn sociopath. Shaking my ass is the only thing that's got this black narcissist off my back. She couldn't care less, and I've never cared more, so there's no more to say about that. Except for it's dangerous thing for a woman like me to have. It's a dangerous thing for a woman like me to have.
It's a perfect album closer. It's a perfect show closer. Obviously, I wanted it to go on longer. It felt like such a short set because it was only an hour and a half. That's a pretty long set, but I wanted it to be longer. But I understand she had to leave. She actually said, she was like, I have 13 more minutes to perform and we're just gonna do what we do. And if we get dragged off the stage, we get dragged off the stage. And then she performed for like 10 more minutes. And then she literally had her people drag her off the stage. She wasn't literally being dragged off the stage. She had them like drag her off the stage, and that was how the concert ended. And I was like, she's just the best of the best. Every expectation I had for this show and for seeing Lana live was surpassed. One thing I know about Lana is, I think I've heard her talk about this, but like performing live is not necessarily where she feels like she shines the most. I have heard her say that she's more of a like recording studio artist, and that's where she's most comfortable. So I was like, well, what if she's not comfortable on stage and like doesn't sound good? I don't know. I was like very nervous, honestly. No, she literally sounded perfect. Her background singers sounded perfect. She had such a precious, calming personality, which isn't surprising at all. She didn't talk a ton with the crowd. Like, she didn't talk in between songs, really. She didn't explain what songs were about or anything like that. But she would like shout us out and be like, Chi-Town, and every time she did, I literally wanted to cry because she's just such a precious little human. She did like come to the front row of the crowd and start interacting with those fans, taking pictures with them. She took someone's sunglasses that they gave her and put them on. By that point, I was over by the medic tent and I was crying. So I didn't really like pay attention a lot to that. It's not the reason I thought I would be crying at a Lana Del Rey concert, that's for sure. But honestly, it was such an unforgettable experience. I already want to see her live again and again and again. It was just such a joy to watch her sing. She looked really, really, truly happy. She had this like little smile on her face at times. Her vibe and her style of performing was perfect for her music. She was moving around. She even laid down at one point and like sang that way. She had the backup singers. She had the set with like mirrors, but at the same time, it wasn't over the top. It was just so tastefully done. So I am so grateful I got to see her despite the imperfections of the night, despite the fact that my feet have never hurt worse than they did after that concert. I am still so glad I got to see her. It was worth the pain. Feet don't fail me now. Take me to the finish line was my mantra that night. And they did. They took me back to my hotel with my cousin and we ate McDonald's. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I don't know, it was just kind of chill. I just wanted to like let you guys know what happened. I felt weird going back into making regular content without addressing this because this was such a big musical moment for me. I referred to this event as Lollapalooza because I literally just went to see Lana, but I also went to see Rina. So I guess it could also be called Rina-Palooza. I would say as an entire like festival experience, like it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. Everything has its ups and downs, so I want to take that in mind. I was like, maybe I'm just too old for the like festival environment. I don't know, but as a like concert and as Lana, it was a 10 out of 10. 1,000 out of 10 would do it 10 times over. So yeah. If you have the opportunity to see either of these artists, I highly recommend. My cousin, who had never heard of Rina Sawayama, is now her biggest fan. Thank you, Lana, for just being a little angel baby. Thank you, Rina, for being an icon. I hope this was enjoyable. Feel free to like and subscribe. Let me know if you've seen Lana live. Please let me know your favorite moments. If you've seen Rina live, let me know. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.